What's going on, everybody? Supercar Street Racing here, Friday, coming to you from my backyard. So my house back there, and just hanging out on my dock here. And I'm going to talk a little bit about interior trim and what you can do to refinish your interior trim. Now, of course, there's a lot of things you can do, spend a lot of money on, and you can make it anything you want. However, I'm going to show you a way to redo your interior trim with minimal effort to matte black finish. And for those of you who have wood trim and you don't like that, you can easily make it matte black. So I'm going to show you that now. And let's take a walk over here. My boat over here behind me, and a little tour of my backyard. There's my pool, and here's my patio area. Gonna head over to the garage right now and show you guys what we're gonna do today. All right, guys, we're headed to the garage now. Take a look at what we're gonna do today. But first, we have some matte black Plastidip here. What we're gonna do is throw it right here in the sink like this. Throw that water on warm. Not too hot, just warm. Still getting warm here, so. What we're doing here is we're going to warm up the can of Plastidip so that it sprays better, more uniform. Very important. Let that sit there for about 5 minutes and get warm while we walk out into the garage. Also got some Bondo spot putty here. Now what this is for filling little cracks, hairline cracks, scratches, pinholes, and then you can sand it after that. Take a walk out here in the garage and turn this garage light on. And there's the Mercedes here and the Honda just chilling right there. So here is the factory Mercedes center console. So what we're going to be doing today is sanding. We're going to clean this really good after we sand it. Same with the door panels and the shifter. And then we're going to be plastidipping these in a matte black and reselling them. That's coming up next. Got my supplies here for, I'm gonna rough up this. It's kind of smooth, so roughing it up will help with any issues with the Plastidip sticking, excuse me. There is also a scratch right here that I don't know if I'm going to be able to fill, but I am going to try right there. I'm gonna fill that and sand it after I get this nice and clean. So the first thing I'm gonna do is go inside and get my cleaner, so after I get done sanding, I can clean this off. Here's some cleaner with bleach. Take that outside. All right, so right now I'm gonna take my sanding block here and I'm going to start hitting this pretty good with the sanding block, and I'll get back to you after that. Got the whole thing sanded down. Basically it's clear coat that sands down and it looks kind of powdery. Now I'm cleaning the area that is going to need the Bondo glazing and spot putty, just like that. Get it nice and clean. It takes about 25 minutes to dry. I don't have any thing to kind of spread it with, so I'm just going to use my hands. So I'm going to open it up, puncture the cap with this top part. Should be good enough. I don't need much here. Try that. Put a little bit on there like this. So that's how it came out. Gonna maybe with my finger kind of fill in that crack. Really kind of needs to be more uniform than that. A flat spreader would be way better for this. I just don't think I have one, or maybe a piece of cardboard. But that's the way it goes on. 25 to 30 minutes from now, that will be dry. So I'm going to leave that here and I'll update you in that time. Got the factory shift knob here. It does have some wood on it. So I'm going to offer this with the whole setup. Unfortunately, if you have keyless go, you will not be able to buy this from me. But I'm going to go ahead and mask this off right now so that I can paint it. Kind of need to find something to put it on. But I'm going to go ahead and mask this off right now and I'll be back. Got the Plastidip warmed up, good and shaken. I'm going to start on the gear shift knob. So remember, on your first coat of Plastidip, you always want to do 50% coverage. And you always want to spray a little bit out to test. Make sure the can's warmed up, good and shaken. Spray a little test spray. What that does is clear the nozzle out. You want to do that every time and clear that nozzle out of dry Plastidip. So here is the masked off, sanded shift knob. I'm going to go ahead and do a 50% coat. May not seem like much, but if you do any more, it will run. Make sure you get it from all angles. So that's 50%. Still waiting on the spot putty to dry. I touched it a minute ago and it is still soft to the touch. It said 20 to 25 minutes, but it's kind of cool out here. I have not sanded that piece yet because I spot puttied a little chip right there. So the only thing really I can do is the ashtray top, and I can do that side of the door trim. So I'm going to do that now. Take all this stuff and get it out of the way. Get my sanding block out of the way. Go ahead and do a 50% coat on my ashtray, which I have sanded and clean. Remember, all sides. That's good enough. That's possibly a little bit too much, but I can live with that. Now the door panel. Remember the sides, 50% coating. You should be able to see through the first coat. All right, there's that first door panel. These are going to get 4 or 5 coats. So now 15 minutes between these 3 pieces for their next coat. By the time that's ready, I'll be ready to sand down these 2. Timer just went off, 15 minutes have gone by. Gonna go out here and see how everything looks. Looks pretty good. There's the ashtray. And this door piece. And the shifter. Go ahead and put round 2 on the shifter. So for the second coat, you wanna go a little bit heavier. Make sure to spray a test coat first. That's good enough for the second coat. This is a heavier coat, but you still want to be careful about runs and drips. Make sure you go all the way around. On a flat piece, you don't have to worry so much about runs, but still, That's good enough for the second coat. And then here's the second coat on this one. Don't forget inside the crack there. Now, while that is drying for 15 minutes, let's put our timer on. Got my 15-minute timer on. I'm gonna check the Bondo spot putty, see how that's drying, so I can start sanding that. Yep, that's the first area that I did there. It feels like that's dry. Yep, that's dry. I'm gonna go ahead and start sanding this, and I will give you an update when I'm done. Okay, I got done trying to sand this. It did not work. It did not fill this hairline crack. I'm not sure why. It's just the very surface that's cracked. Going to try to go ahead and paint Plastidip over this. I don't know how that's gonna go, but I'm gonna try that now. So I ended up sanding this down a lot more, and you can't feel the crack. You can still see it, but it's barely fingernail. I think this might fill with the Plastidip. I'm gonna go ahead and try that now. Got the first coat on the center console. The door panel that had the little chip, that did not come out good either. This stuff is just not working very well at all. I'm gonna try another coat and sand and then see what happens. Still having some difficulty with that other door panel, but it's time for the next coat on the pieces that are ready to be painted. So here's coat number 3 on the shifter. On the ashtray. There is a little silver piece on this ashtray that pops out, so that will go back in. And third coat on this door panel. Make sure you get all sides. So these are thick coats, don't forget. This one I tried to touch up a little bit more. This stuff is just not working well at all for this application. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do unless I just try to build up a really large amount of Plastidip on there to fill it in. Time for the next coat on the center console. Go ahead and get that. See how it's splattered out? You always want to do that test coat. Make sure you're getting all angles. This is a good heavy coat. Looks like that crack is filling in pretty good. I might get lucky on that. However, I'm just noticing that I've been missing this part that's really hard to get to here. And I may have sprayed too much right there. Be sure that you get all sides. Hopefully that doesn't drip right there. Go ahead and get another coat on these. Sorry about that. I had the camera off of it for that. It's kind of hard to shoot and record. Paint and record at the same time. And this is coat 4 for all the rest. Now, the thing about Plastidip is for this shifter, wherever you tape something off and you have these lines, you can either attempt to peel that off, or the best way to do it is if you've taped off an edge, you want to peel that when it's wet. So when I do the last coat, I'm going to peel the tape off while the Plastidip's still wet. If you do it when it's dry, it will take the rest of the dip off. It will attempt to actually peel. Just saw another spot that I completely missed, and then just another one just now. So I hit those spots right there. This has a lot of irregular areas in it that you got to make sure you're getting in case they're in view. We'll be back. Out here ready to put the last coat on these pieces. Don't forget to spray a sample. Now right after we put this coat on, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I need to peel off this tape, or either I can try to do it later. I might just try to do it after. Supposed to peel that off now. Got this final coat going on this center console. It's a heavy coat. Trying to get all the spaces that I missed last time. Also assure that nothing scratches. I'm just taking a look at all these areas up here that are hard to see. And all the edges, like that edge that I missed. Which is covered, by the way. Most of this is covered. It's a good thick coat. Now the final coat on this. Nice thick coat. A lot easier to do a thick coat on a flat object that it can't run as much. And then on the ashtray, got all that done. Still waiting for this putty to dry. I'm gonna give it a while because I don't think it was dry last time before I can do that piece. So the shifter, I peeled the tape off too late. It has to be completely wet and I messed it up, so I peeled the tape completely. I'm gonna try the other way, just spraying it and peeling around the edge of that little edge right there. So I have to start over on the shifter.